So students, I'm going to start with the Peninsular Plateau from chapter number 2, Physical Features of India. And here in today's class, I'll be explaining about the Peninsular Plateau. Okay, the broad divisions of the Peninsular Plateau, the characteristics of the Peninsular Plateau, as well as the different other aspects of the Peninsular Plateau. Okay, so in our previous classes, we have discussed about the major physiographic divisions of our country. Like we have discussed about the Himalayan mountains as a major physiographic division. We have discussed about the northern plains. Okay, we have discussed about the islands and the coastal plains and all. Okay, so today I'm going to start with the Peninsular Plateau. This Peninsular Plateau is one of the oldest physical feature of our country. Okay, like the Himalayas, the northern plains, and all, they all have been they all have formed after the Peninsular Plateau actually. And it is believed that the Peninsular Plateau is a part of the ancient like landmass Gondwana land actually. Okay, so we will be discussing in details. I will try to provide a lot of information about this Peninsular Plateau and how this from this Peninsular Plateau actually the Himalayas and the northern plains and all it came into existence. The Peninsular Plateau is a table land composed of the old crystalline, igneous, and the metamorphic rocks. So basically, the Peninsular Plateau is a table land. It's a flat land which is made up of the igneous and the metamorphic rocks. Okay, like in case of the Himalayan mountains, we can see that the mountain ranges are very steep actually. Okay, the mountain ranges are very steep and the peak of the mountain ranges are very high and steep actually. But in case of the Peninsular Plateau, the Peninsular Plateau is an uplifted landmass. Okay, it is an uplifted landmass which is having a flat base and it is mainly made up of the igneous and the metamorphic rocks. This Peninsular Plateau, okay, the Peninsular Plateau of our country, it is believed that it was a part of the Gondwana land. Okay, the Peninsular Plateau was a part of the Gondwana land actually, and this Gondwana land is considered to be one of the oldest landmass of our country. Okay, means when all the countries were joined together at that time, the land area was combinedly known as the Gondwana land actually. Okay, so there were many theories which has been put forward by different geographers. Okay, like this Gondwana land. Okay, the plate tectonics theories and all. So mainly it is believed that this Peninsular Plateau, the Peninsular Plateau of our country, it is a part of the Gondwana land and it has been formed just because of the breaking and drifting of the breaking of the Gondwana land actually. Okay, means this Gondwana land was actually a single landmass and because of certain external and the internal forces, endogenic forces and all, it got broken into small pieces. Okay, different big pieces. Okay, and this blocks, okay, means the parts of this Gondwana land, it started drifting to different direction. And the Peninsular Plateau is a part of this Gondwana land, which broke up from this main Gondwana land, and it started drifting actually. Okay. The Peninsular Plateau has broad and shallow valleys and the rounded hills. The Peninsular Plateau, it has a broad and a shallow valleys actually. That means the valleys which are being found by this formed by the small hills of this Peninsular Plateau region are not so steep actually, but they have a very broad, that means a wider valley but shallow valley actually, means the steep, they does not have a very steep valleys actually. And the top of the ranges, okay, and the top of these hills are rounded shape actually. Okay, they are round shape and where human habitation is possible actually. So basically the Peninsular Plateau is mainly divided into two broad divisions or into two broad categories. Okay, that is the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. Okay, the Peninsular Plateau is mainly divided into two parts, the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. So now we are going to discuss first about the Central Highlands and about the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so as I said that the Peninsular Plateau is mainly divided into two broad divisions, that is the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so first we are going to discuss about the Central Highlands. Okay, the extension of the Central Highland, the characteristics of the Central Highland and all, and then I am going to discuss about the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so first let us start with the Central Highland. So first keep it in your mind that the Peninsular Plateau is the oldest landmass of our country. Okay, of all the physical features which is present in our country, the Peninsular Plateau is the oldest physical feature actually, and it is mainly made up of the igneous and the metamorphic rocks actually. Okay, and it is divided into two broad divisions, that is the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau. So first, the Central Highlands. The part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highland. So basically, the Peninsular Plateau, it covers it covers the part of the Peninsular Plateau which lies in the north of the Narmada River. Okay, in the north of the Narmada River, the part of the Peninsular Plateau is known as the Central Highland, and it covers a major part of the Malwa region actually. Okay. The Vindhyas range is bounded by the Satpura range on the south and the Aravallis on the northwest. So basically, the Central Highland is bounded by the Vindhyas, okay, and by the Vindhyas in the south, okay, and by the Aravallis in the northwest actually. The further westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and the rocky desert of Rajasthan, and even a part of the Central Highland can be found in the desert of Rajasthan. But this Rajasthan, the underlying rocks in Rajasthan, is a part of the Central Plateau actually, but in different geological periods actually, this part has got converted into the dry region, into a desert region actually. Okay, so basically the Central Highland, okay, it lies to the north of the Narmada River, and in the northwest, the Aravallis is the boundary, and in the western part, the extension can be found till Rajasthan. In this Central Highlands, the four major rivers they flow actually. The four rivers they flow through the Central Highland. That is the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa, and the Ken. Okay, the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa, and the Ken. These are the four rivers which flow through the Central Highland, and the river they flow from the southwest direction to the northeast direction actually. That means they flow from the southwest part to the northeast part. Okay, and they ultimately join the river Ganga actually. Okay, they ultimately join the river Ganga. So this flow of the river from the southwest to the northeast, it indicates the slope of the Central Highland actually. That means the Central Highland is sloped towards the northeast direction. I will show you in the map that how the which part of the Indian part is known as the Central Highland actually. Okay. See. The Central Highlands are wider in the western side but narrower in the eastern side actually. So in the western part of the Central Highland is much wider as compared to the eastern part, because in the eastern part, the Central Highland is very narrow and it has merged with the northern plains. And some part of this Central Highland actually, okay, which is the eastward extension, means which lies in the eastern part, is also known as the Bundelkhand and the Bagelkhand Plateau. Okay, the local name is the Bundelkhand and the Bagelkhand, and this part is mainly found in the state of Uttar Pradesh and all. Okay. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension drained by the Damodar River. And the Chota Nagpur Plateau of our country is an eastward extension of this Central Highland actually. Okay, means this is the easternmost part of the Central Highland, and it is mainly drained by the river Damodar. So basically the state like the Chhattisgarh, the Jharkhand, some parts of West Bengal, it comes under this Chota Nagpur Plateau region actually. Okay. So here, one thing we need to recapitulate is that the Central Highland, it lies to the north of the Narmada River, and in the northwest, it is bounded by the Aravallis, and in the west, the extension can be found in the desert of Rajasthan. Okay, the Central Highland is wider in the west and narrower in the east, and the Chota Nagpur Plateau is an eastward extension of the Central Highland. Okay, basically four rivers they flow through the Central Highland, that is the Narmada, Chambal, Betwa, Ken, and Son, and they flow okay towards the northeast direction actually, and which indicates the slope of the Central Highland. See. So in this map, you can see that this part I have given a bracket also. Like if you observe closely that where it is written 4 and where it is written 2, here you can see that a small bracket has been provided actually. So you can see that the Satpura range is there just below the Vindhyas. Okay, and here only you can see that the Narmada river is also there. Small Narmada R it is written. So just above the Narmada river, that means just above the Vindhyas range, and where it is written number 4, here you can see that the Aravalli range is there. Okay, so this Aravalli range is the northwestern boundary of the Central Highland actually, and this Narmada river is the southern boundary of the Central Highland, and some part of the Central Highland has extended in the Indian desert actually. Okay, that means in Rajasthan. And on the right hand side, that is in the eastern side, you can see where it is written to. Here you can see that the Chotanagpur Plateau it is written. So this is the eastern extension of the Central Highland actually. So through this map only you can see that this patches, okay, pink color patches which you can see is the Central Highland actually. So in the western side, basically in this northwestern part of the country or in the western side, the Central Highland is much wider actually. Okay, whereas as we move towards the eastern side, towards the Chotanagpur Plateau, here you can see that the Central Highland is very narrower actually. It is very narrow. Okay, and this is one of the important locational feature of the Central Highland. Okay, so as I said earlier, that the Peninsular Plateau is divided into two major divisions, that is the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau. So the Central Highland is actually the northernmost extension of the Peninsular Plateau. Okay, and here you can see the Deccan Plateau as well, where it is written number 3, it is the Deccan Plateau. So this Deccan Plateau lies below the Narmada River, okay, towards the south of the Narmada River, that is towards the south of the Satpura range. And here it is in Chhattisgarh and all some parts, okay, this part. And the Western Ghat on the east, that is in the right hand side. Sorry, the Eastern Ghat in the east, that is in the right hand side. And the Western Ghat in the west, that is in the left hand side. Okay, so in between this, you can see this yellowish patches actually. Okay, this is the Deccan Plateau actually. Okay, so we have already discussed about the Central Highland, its location, and even in the map I have showed you about the Central Highland. Okay, so now let us proceed to discuss about the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau, as shown in the map, the Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the Narmada River. The Deccan Plateau is actually a triangular landmass. Okay, the shape of the Deccan Plateau is triangular in shape, and it lies to the south of the river Narmada, and it is flanked by the Satpura range. Okay, the Satpura range, it flanks it broad base in the north, while the Mahadev, the Kaimur Hills, and the Michael range forms its eastern extension. Okay, so basically the Satpura range, you can see here, the Satpura range, okay, it is the northernmost base of the Deccan Plateau. Okay, and near this Chotanagpur Plateau region and only here we are having the Mahadev Hills. Okay, Mahadev Hills, and it is the here like northeastward extension actually. The Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently in the eastern side actually. So the height of the Deccan Plateau is higher in the western side as compared to the eastern side. That means the slope of the Deccan Plateau is from the west towards the east. Okay, here you can see this part. Okay, on the left hand side where it is written number 5, this is the Western Ghat actually. So in this Western Ghat, the height of the Deccan Plateau is much higher. See, Western Ghats are actually the small uplifted areas. You can say the small hilly region of the Peninsular Plateau. And even the Eastern Ghats are the small hilly regions of this Deccan Plateau. Okay. So the Western Ghats are much higher in altitude than the Eastern Ghats. And this is the reason that the height of the Deccan Plateau is more in the western side than the eastern side. That means the slope is from the west. Okay, the slope is from the west towards the east. That means the rivers which originate in the Deccan Plateau, they flow from the western side towards the eastern side and they drain into the Bay of Bengal. So here you can see that many rivers are there, like the Krishna River is there, okay, the Kaveri, the Godavari, etc. Okay, Krishna, these are the rivers actually which flows from the Western Ghat actually towards the Eastern Ghat, that means towards the Bay of Bengal, and it indicates the slope of the Deccan Plateau region. Okay, so this Deccan Plateau is an uplifted landmass, okay, where the slope is from the western to the eastern side actually. An extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast, locally known as the Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau, and the North Kachar Hills. So basically, an extension of this peninsular plateau can also be found in the northeastern states of Meghalaya and some parts of Assam actually. Okay, basically the entire state of Meghalaya, the Karbi Anglong and the North Kachar Hills of Assam are also an extension of this peninsular plateau. Okay, but how did this peninsular plateau, okay, a part of the peninsular plateau got separated and it got attached with this Himalayan region actually? Because during the formation of the Himalayas, means when there was an upliftment of the Himalayas, actually, a part of the peninsular plateau got detached. Okay, a part of the peninsular plateau got detached from this Chotanagpur plateau region, and okay, from this Chotanagpur plateau region, and it merged with the Himalayan counterpart. Okay, so the present day state of Meghalaya, the Karbi Anglong district, and the North Kachar hills of Assam are actually a part of this peninsular plateau. Okay, to be more precise, it is a part. Okay, it is a part of this Chotanagpur plateau, actually, and it is mainly separated. Okay, the Meghalaya, the Karbi Anglong plateau, and the North Kachar hills and all, it is mainly separated by a fault from the Chotanagpur plateau, actually. Okay. So what is fault actually? Fault means when there is an upliftment of the mountains. On one side, the mountain gets uplifted, and another side, some portion gets subsided. It goes down actually. So those portion which get subsided, means which goes down, is known as the fault, actually, fault line. So here you can see, here is the Chotanagpur plateau. Okay, and here we are having the Meghalaya plateau. Okay, this one, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, this one actually. So in this part, actually, during the formation of the Himalayas, this part got subsided actually. Okay, means a fault was created here in this part. Okay, and because of which a part of the Chotanagpur plateau got separated, and it went into the other part actually. Okay, and later on, this part in between Chotanagpur plateau and this Meghalaya and all, this part got filled up with the sediments actually, and which led to the formation of the northern plains. Okay. So this is how the Meghalaya, the state of Meghalaya, the North Kachar hills and all, okay, I became a part of this northeastern states and all. The three prominent hill ranges from the west to the east are the Garo Hills, the Khasi Hills, and the Jaintia Hills. Okay, so basically in this northeastern extension of this peninsular plateau, there are three prominent hill ranges. Okay, the Garo Hills, the Khasi Hills, and the Jaintia Hills, which can be found in the state of Meghalaya. Okay, and one more thing which is very important here is that, like, now you may have a question like, how can we say that the Meghalaya, the state of Meghalaya, the district of Karbi Anglong, and the North Kachar Hills is a part of the Peninsular Plateau? Means, what is the proof actually? The proof is that the minerals which can be found in Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong, North Kachar Hills, and all, it has similarity with the mineral deposits of the Chotanagpur Plateau. Okay, and even the structure of the rocks, okay, are same actually. The structure of the rocks are similar to the Chotanagpur Plateau and the rocks found in this Meghalaya Plateau and all. Okay, so which proves that this Meghalaya region, the Karbi Anglong Plateau and the North Kachar Hills of Assam were once a part of the Chotanagpur Plateau, that is the Peninsular Plateau actually. Okay, so this is what about the Peninsular Plateau of our country. Okay, like this entire part, if we see it in a like combined way, you can see. So from the Great Indian Desert till the Chotanagpur Plateau, and from the Chotanagpur Plateau till the south, okay, Annamalai Hills and Anaimudi Hills, this part actually, this entire part, okay, is the Peninsular Plateau region. And this Peninsular Plateau region is rich in mineral reserves. Different types of minerals, most of the mineral resources of our country are found in this region. Okay, and to be more precise, most of the mineral resources are mainly found in this Chotanagpur Plateau. Okay, the coal reserves, the iron ore deposits, and all. Okay, even in this Deccan Plateau also, we can find the deposits of coal, some amount of deposits of coal, and a better quality of iron ore can be found in this region. Okay, but this part is not so much rich in minerals. Actually, the Central Highland is not so much rich in minerals, but here we can find some of the minerals like copper, bronze, and all. Okay, but most of the iron and coal deposits can be found in the Chotanagpur Plateau region and in this southern state of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this is what about the Peninsular Plateau. Okay, and like the next part which we will be discussing about the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Okay, the Western Ghat is the westernmost boundary of the Peninsular Plateau, and the Eastern Ghat is the easternmost boundary of the Peninsular Plateau. So we will be discussing about this Eastern Ghat and the Western Ghat and the basic differences between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. Okay, so this is what about today's this topic which I was supposed to discuss with you.